Imagine waking up at 3 in the morning. The house is silent, the world is asleep, but your mind is a roaring engine of catastrophe. You're staring at the ceiling, but you aren't seeing the plaster or the paint. You're seeing a spreadsheet. You're seeing a number that feels terrifyingly small against a timeline that feels terrifyingly long. In the darkness, you project yourself 20, 30 years into the future. You see yourself old, frail, perhaps alone, and most terrifying of all, empty-handed. This is not just a worry about bills. This is a visceral, primal scream from the depths of your nervous system. It's the fear of obsolescence, the terror of becoming a burden, the nightmare of scarcity in a world that has no mercy for the poor. You try to do the math again. You calculate inflation, medical costs, market crashes. And no matter how much you save, the shadow self within you whispers a cold, jagged truth. It is never enough. This is where we begin today, not with financial advice, not with investment strategies, but here, in the abyss of the anxious mind. We are walking the path of light into the darkest corner of modern existence, the deep-seated dread of the future. To understand this anxiety, we must first look at the diagnosis of your soul. We live in a society that suffers from what we might call the pathology of normality. We're told that it's normal to live in a state of chronic, low-grade panic about the future. We're conditioned to believe that security is a fortress we must build with our own hands, brick by brick, dollar by dollar. But have you noticed that for many, the fortress never feels finished? You see, this anxiety isn't actually about money. If it were about money, there would be a number that brings peace. But we all know people who have reached that number and are still terrified. Why? Because the money is a symbol. It's a proxy for control. Your subconscious mind, that deep ocean beneath your conscious thoughts, knows that life is fragile. It knows you are mortal. And because the ego cannot stand the idea of its own vulnerability, it latches onto wealth as a way to deny death. We use our retirement accounts as a shield against the unknown. We think, if I have enough gold, the chaos of the world cannot touch me. But this is an addiction. It's an addiction to the illusion of certainty. You are trying to solve an existential problem with a financial solution, and that is why the hunger never goes away. You're trying to buy immortality, and the price is your peace in the present moment. This anxiety is a mechanism of the shadow. It takes the neutral energy of planning and twists it into a cage of fear. It traps you in a time that does not exist. Think about it. The version of you that is 80 years old, destitute and suffering, exists only in one place, your imagination. You are suffering the pain of a tragedy that has not happened. This is an imagination addiction. You are using the incredible creative power of your mind not to build a beautiful present, but to construct a torture chamber in the future. You are living in a hallucination of potential sorrow, and your body reacts to it as if it were real. The cortisol floods your veins, your heart races, your joy evaporates, all for a phantom. This is the trap. We sacrifice the only thing we actually possess, the present moment, on the altar of a future that is entirely theoretical. So, how do we break this chain? We cannot simply stop worrying by force of will. That's like trying to stop a tidal wave with a chain-link fence. We need a different philosophy of existence. We must turn to the wisdom of the way. Consider the nature of water. In our anxiety, we try to be like stone. We try to build a dam against the future, to create a rigid, unmoving wall of security. But the nature of the universe is change. The markets will shift, nations will rise and fall, your health will fluctuate. If you are rigid like stone, you will crack. The anxiety comes from the tension between your desire for a static, safe world and the reality of a fluid, chaotic world. The Way teaches us the philosophy of flow. Instead of asking, how can I build a wall high enough to stop the future? We must learn to ask, how can I become like water so that I can navigate whatever the future brings? True security is not a fortress. It's a skill set. It's resilience. It is the internal knowing that you are adaptable, that you can flow around obstacles. When you accept the radical impermanence of life, when you accept that you cannot control the outcome of the next 20 years, you stop fighting reality. You realize that your safety lies not in the hoard, but in your capacity to handle change. You shift from a mindset of hoarding to a mindset of flowing. However, philosophy alone is sometimes not enough to silence the screaming at 3 in the morning. We need a weapon. We need the sword of truth. We must look to the ancient light that cuts through the deception of scarcity. There is a profound psychological technology found in the ancient texts, specifically in the letter to the Hebrews. It addresses the root of your financial terror. It says, "Keep your lives free from the love of money and be content with what you have." Why? Is it because money is bad? No, it's because of what follows. Because God has said, "Never will I leave you. Never will I forsake you." This is the pivot point of your soul. The text connects the love of money directly to the fear of abandonment. We hoard because we feel alone in the universe. We feel that if we run out of resources, there is no safety net, no higher power, no love to catch us. The sword of truth severs this lie. It offers the ultimate security, presence. If the creator of the universe has promised never to leave you, then your security is not in the bank balance. It's in the relationship. You are not an orphan trying to survive in a hostile wilderness. You are a child walking in a garden. The fear says, "I am alone." The truth says, "You are held." Let's deepen this with the instruction from the book of Matthew, a verse that acts as a direct command to the anxious mind. "Therefore do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own." This is not a greeting card slogan. This is a rigorous mental discipline. It's a boundary setting for the soul. The ancient light is telling us that we are designed to carry the weight of exactly 24 hours. When you try to carry the weight of the next 20 years today, you collapse. It's a physics problem. You don't have the spiritual fuel for 2045. You only have the fuel for today. When you drag the imagined problems of your retirement into this Tuesday morning, you crush the joy of the Tuesday. The instruction is to draw a circle around today. Ask yourself, do I have enough for today? Am I okay right now? The answer is almost always yes. The catastrophe is always in the imagination. The reality of the now is almost always manageable. By rigorously pulling your attention back to the present, you cut the fuel line to the anxiety machine. But what do we do when the loop starts again? When the chest tightens? We use the alchemy of exchange found in Philippians. Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God. Notice the mechanism here. It doesn't say, ignore the anxiety. It says transform it. Take that raw, terrifying energy of fear and transmute it into a request. Speak it out. I am terrified of being poor. I am terrified of the future. And then the promise. And the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds. It transcends understanding. That means it doesn't make logical sense. Your spreadsheet still looks the same. The economy is still volatile. But inside, the storm has stopped. This is the supernatural intervention that occurs when we surrender the illusion of control and accept the reality of dependency. You trade your limited understanding for an unlimited peace. So, imagine yourself again. It's 3 in the morning. The thought comes, the calculator starts. But this time, you do not engage with the numbers. You recognize the shadow. You say to the fear, I see you. You are trying to control the uncontrollable. You breathe. You become like water, willing to flow with whatever life brings, trusting in your own resilience. And then you wield the ancient light. You remind your soul, I am not alone. I will never be forsaken. You look at the dark ceiling, and you surrender the next 20 years. You hand them over. You realize that you cannot live in the future. You can only live now. You feel the weight lift, not because the problem is solved, but because the burden has been placed on shoulders strong enough to carry it. You close your eyes, no longer a prisoner of the imaginary future, but a master of the present moment. You are safe, not because of what you own, but because of who holds you. Walk in this light. Live in this day. Let tomorrow worry about itself. Thanks for watching, and if this helped you, please subscribe for more.